Goff's a better quarterback by a lot. You guys would. You'd give your left nut to get Goff instead of Danny Dimes.
I wouldn't give anything to get Goff, to be honest with you.
You probably should.
But this is a beg and plead to the Dallas Cowboys organization, but take Jerry Jones' conscience, put it in a robot, and let him run the Cowboys for the next eon. Please, I'm begging you. I would love to see this until I die. Add washed players, say you're all in, not be all in, sign a punter or whatever, long snapper in the offseason. Just great. I love seeing it, so... Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys on Sports. It is the Tres Amigos here, ready to go.
That was a scary smile.
We're so happy to be here.
Yeah. I am happy.
We're glad you're here. Last time you saw us, you probably saw us recap the draft. We talked about the rookies that you should draft and the rookies you should avoid, the late round gems. Go back and check out that episode. Today we're getting back on track as far as breaking down the divisions go. We already took care of the AFC, the West, the East, all of it. Go back and watch those. We told you the AFC booms, the AFC busts. Now we're getting right into the NFC, a very close to us division. Near and dear to our hearts. Thank you for helping me get there. NFC East is what we're tackling today. We're going to be going over the booms, the players that you should be drafting, and then the busts, the players that we don't think are going to live up to their hype, and you should avoid drafting these NFC East players. Avoid them. Without further ado, let's get right into TikTok Take.
Time to check my social media, to see who loves me online.
We've got two comments. The first one is, I believe, our YouTube short. Thanks for not only subscribing to YouTube, but also checking out our clips. We appreciate that. This was about Rocky talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. with the bloodline is pure and you should draft him. Don't overthink it, that kind of thing. And I don't get these comments, so maybe you guys can help me figure this out because we had a twofer. We had a viewer and then another viewer comment. So let's see. I'm just gonna read them. @Stoob7272 said he's related to The Rock and Roman? Question mark.
Yeah, you don't get that?
And the second one,
I get it.
The Rock and Roman.
I'll explain it. Go ahead.
Okay. And then the comment, the reply is from @Lynn Pendry, said final boss engaged. Yeah. So let's get a decipher. Genius.com.
You could go first.
I don't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, The Rock. He
said The Rock.
Yeah, WWE. Mm-hmm. Roman
Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
I'm thinking somehow because you're talking about Marvin Harrison in this clip. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I actually don't know. I know there's wrestling involved somewhere.
You should guess.
I mean, is there some kind of racial motivation there?
No, I wanted to guess.
Maybe that there was like a smackdown between like families.
A smackdown, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna guess?
No,
It'll
I'm not.
Be fun.
I have never. This is true. Have never watched any form of wrestling at all.
Well, it's all fake. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You're missing out.
No, I don't think I am.
It's scripted.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
But it's scripted.
Getting slammed on your back or your head is not fake.
That is true.
Scripted.
I just don't like my sports scripted.
It's not sports. It's entertainment.
Well, so
like
is the NFL?
Well, some may say.
Yeah. There's a cookie.
That's a big cookie.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's it mean?
So, there's a big storyline leading into WrestleMania. I mean, I don't watch wrestling now either, but it's all over social media. It finished a couple weeks ago. Roman and Rock are family, and they call it the bloodline. And The Rock's like saying throughout the whole 4 months leading up to WrestleMania he was the final boss.
Look at that.
So you tie that together.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I guess it's not as niche as we realize.
Oh, it's definitely not niche at all.
Can't believe you guys are saying niche. Instead of niche, but that's enough.
No, niche is how we say it.
Niche.
If you're born before
1999.
Like Super Mario Bros. Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say
Mario.
niche.
Well, that's cool. Thanks for teaching us something, viewers. We appreciate that. You're definitely watching right now. You should also comment on this episode. Before that, @TY Kalb5155 was responding to Phil saying it's a no-brainer to draft Malik Neighbors. There's not one factor that should make you say, don't draft this guy.
Oh, wow.
And then this person said 2 words, ... Daniel ... Jones ... but spelled Daniel with an A
He
instead
didn't
of an
spell
E.
it right.
Yeah. So,
Unless he was trying
Take it
to
away.
play off denial.
oh, I think you're helping him out. I think it was a
I am,
I
but
think it was a
I'm
typo.
also
Yeah.
pointing out how bad you are at like reading this stuff. So denial may be what he meant.
No, I doubt it. Don't
I
give
mean,
him
what
credit
am
by
I going to
dissing
do?
me.
I'm feeding to the Daniel Jones haters? Oh, I don't really care. The guy probably watches 1 game a week, Monday night.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like porn. or
Listen,
something.
I mean,
The guy probably watches,
he didn't say anything. I mean, there's nothing
people
to
do
give energy.
listen. I mean, people were high on Danny after his first season. Like they were. They had a couple things that he had to clean up.
No,
He
his
was
first year, he would say, let's see, now you're going to get me fired up.
what?
Because his first year was good. It wasn't that he was
No,
good.
that's what I'm saying. People were fired
24
up.
and
People,
12.
yeah,
As a
people,
rookie, over
people.
3,000, that was good.
That's what I'm saying.
The only thing he had was fumbles.
yeah,
That
fumbles.
was a big thing.
Yeah, he couldn't
And the
hang on to the
interceptions
ball.
weren't- They go look
Yeah.
at the numbers.
No,
that
but
was overblown.
what didn't I
check that
say?
tape.
I said people were kind of fired up about him. They thought he was a potential. They thought he had talent.
And they
And he
threw
had a good
$45
year.
million at him.
He's the 16th
But
highest
that's
paid
like
quarterback.
not a
right?
lot.
That is true,
Hey,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not a lot for
Yeah.
a quarterback.
No, you're
anymore.
right. You're
16th
right.
highest paid
Revisiting this
quarterback.
like,
Just like I
what,
said.
8 months later? Jared
Blowing
Goff
it out
now
of
getting more
proportion.
money.
Jared Goff is the second highest. So let's hear people crying about that.
Goff's a better quarterback by a lot.
He
You
is
guys
a better
would.
quarterback.
You'd give your left nut to get Goff
I would
instead
not.
of Danny
No, I
Dine.
wouldn't give anything to get Goff. To be honest with
You
you,
probably should.
no. He's 30.
Malik
right?
Neighbors
Isn't
would
he
give his
30
left
years old?
nut for Jared Goff. So those are the comments. Thanks for commenting. We really do appreciate it. We love engaging with you guys, so continue to do so. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, we're going to talk about Thrive Fantasy, a little partner and sponsor of the show. Thank you, Thrive Fantasy.
Thrive.
If you are not doing daily fantasy, or even if you are doing daily fantasy, you should be doing it through Thrive. Our users get a $250, up to $250 instant match deposit on their first deposit. When they use the app, they either scan the QR code on the screen right now, they click the link in the bio, or they download the app and then use promo code GUYS to get that benefit. And then during the season, as it quickly comes across our calendars, you're going to be getting parlays that you can add a free square to. You can get Pat Mahomes 0.5 passing. If you even wait for the NBA, you can get LeBron James 0.5
Hey,
assists.
you always use Pat Mahomes and
Yeah,
LeBron. Can
I
you
do.
Go somewhere else.
Okay, you get Daniel Jones 0.5 fumbles and Malik Neighbors
I want that
0.5
How many times will Trip
asks for Jared
on
Goff.
a run?
Yeah. So yeah, but you get to add free squares to your parlays. You get to take benefit of up to $250 instant match deposit. You should do it. You should check that out. Make some money. It helps out the show. We appreciate it. Thrive Fantasy. All right, NFC East. Philip?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me ask you guys a question. Is there any camp hype? Camps, rookie camps are in session. Anything you guys are hearing that you think is either BS or you think is right on?
I think this is big offseason. Shout out Lefko Podcast. The Xavier Worthy drops that we've been seeing. It's very Jamar Chase-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to be forming a Xavier Worthy pro narrative. So seeing those was funny. But
Why is that?
well, I don't know. You pick a guy to bark about in the
it's
offseason,
just-
and then you see them
Yeah.
drop pass, and then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
So we'll see.
The camp drops that I'm seeing and I'm really curious about, and I kind of think it's mostly just crap, but
Yeah.
the JJ Sam Darnold can't hit a receiver stuff.
Yeah. Well, they did that with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, and Baker Mayfield had his best, career year.
Yes, yeah. So I think that's kind of crap. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Minnesota.
I've seen two things, and this isn't to add salt to the wound with Phil, but like Malik Neighbors looks just depressed, and then also JJ McCarthy. So actually, with the Neighbors saying him and Jaden McDaniels had a bet of like who would win Rookie of the
I
Year.
saw that, 10
And then-
grand.
Yeah, and then
They got in trouble.
So Neighbors and
I did
and
hear that,
Daniels. Yeah, they had for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, they had a 10K bet on who would win Rookie of the Year, something like that. And then the scuttlebutt, as Rocky would say, is that after like a practice with Daniel Jones, that Neighbors like withdrew the bet. And then JJ McCarthy bet with his defense that whoever would, or like if they would,
He would not have an incompletion.
Yeah.
That he would not have an incompletion in practice.
And then he ran sprints because he had like a bunch.
Yeah.
But so that's the
Of course, he had a bunch.
offseason stuff.
Yeah. So
Haven't been paying attention, to be honest with you. But I did read a couple things, but I didn't read anything about neighbors being upset.
Yeah, it'll probably hit your timeline now that the government's listening to you,
Yeah.
but you'll see some depressed neighbors.
Yeah, it was great. The
edits.
NFL's response was rookie mandatory rules for rookie camp is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, watch this video and don't bet
Yeah.
like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Take
all
it
right, who's going to start? Because I think what we're going to do first is NFC East booms.
Correct.
And how do
Usually
we
starts to
normally
my
go?
left.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if Phil was
Sorry,
ready.
I was
His
cut-
He
Bruins.
wasn't too excited about his
this
picks,
out.
and I have to agree. This was the people that are
hard,
booms,
yeah,
right? Like if you're coming here and saying AJ,
Yeah.
okay, come
Like,
on,
duh.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm saying somebody like that, so it sucks.
Well, but
in a different
it's
way.
because there's not a
no,
lot.
somebody also like that, like
Yeah, but
positively.
we're kind of bearing the lead here since you're about to talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
it, but
so is it my turn?
yeah. I was
Am
going
I
to say
doing my pick?
yes,
yeah,
you're
boom.
doing your boom.
Well, this is a guy that you had.
MVP, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
This is a guy you had as a bust last year.
I did have him, but bust.
So this is why it's kind of, it's not extremely
Hey,
chalk.
I'm willing to change my tune if I'm wrong. Listen, contrary to popular belief, everything I say isn't right. So, yeah.
I
when
did
I'm
not
wrong,
know
I
that.
admit it. Lamb looked incredible, especially after the beginning of the season last year. First in targets, first in receptions, second in yards, third in TDs. I don't see what else is going to change. I mean, thank God for us, the Cowboys probably won't do anything again in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So that's fine, and we can have our cake and eat it too. Go draft Lamb and hate the Cowboys, and I think you'll be a happy camper. There's not really, I don't know where else to go with it. I mean, he's just the guy.
Yeah, he is a stud, unfortunately.
yeah.
Like, if you were to pick one receiver, I mean, even with the guys in Philly, I think you would still have to.
Well, the target share is there with Lamb. I mean, there's no true competition.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks
Crazy.
stretches the field a little bit, but
180 targets.
Well, and there's nothing that you can see that would make you believe those are going to go down. I mean, Dak.
I have pushback.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
push
yeah.
back then.
It's very small pushback, but Dak. They're saying that this is the most Dak dependent offense that he's ever been in. Their leading rusher or their star back is Zeke for the second time. Deuce Vaughn's their RB2. That offensive line is kind of duct
Is it
taped
Deuce
together.
Vaughn? Is he there now?
Yeah, he's still there.
I thought it was Rico.
Rico Dowdle's still there, but that's
Uncle
like they have
Rico.
a running back committee of bleh. I mean, Royce Freeman just added to that squad. Dak Prescott getting that much older, there isn't Dak's best years are when he was a rookie, and after that was with a stellar offensive line and a Zeke in his prime. So they're putting a lot into Dak. They didn't really draft to support him either, so that's the pushback.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that Jerry Jones, I mean,
love how senile that man is.
yeah, he must be
give him-
because for him to re-sign Zeke,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get that. And here's the crazy thing:
I love how bad they are.
Zeke, and I don't think any of us are picking Zeke either way, or are we? Maybe,
No.
But Zeke has fantasy relevance. He is going to run. He is going to score. He's going to catch passes still.
He led the Patriots with receptions last year.
Yeah. He hasn't slowed down there. To me, Zeke does have relevance. Like his, he still caught. I think he had 40-something receptions last year. Per rush was 3.2. That's definitely going down, but. It's sad to me that that's who they're going with as their 1-1, but he will actually probably get close to 1,000 yards because who else do they have?
You know what? This is a beg and plead to the Dallas Cowboys organization, but take Jerry Jones' conscious, put it in a robot, and let him run the Cowboys for the next eon. Please. Like, I'm begging you. I would love to see this until I die. Just add washed players, say you're all in, not be all in, sign a punter or whatever, long snapper in the offseason. This is just great. I love seeing it. So the only pushback with CeeDee Lamb is that Dak is now the only thing on the Cowboys aside from CeeDee Lamb on offense, and that could make Dak bad.
Yeah.
Hence
Whoa,
CeeDee
whoa.
Lamb production bad.
What about their tight end? What's his name again?
Exactly.
Michael Mayer.
No, that's on the
No,
he's
that's
on the Raiders.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, the guy that we liked, he was on the Texans, and they just signed him.
No, they had another guy.
They had some other white guy that's doing well. They seem to figure out tight end a little bit.
So they
Yeah,
had
they did.
Dalton
Well, that was your guy.
Schultz a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that
but-
was the guy I liked.
Yeah, no, there's another guy that
There's
you
another guy.
your waiver
Justin
wire
Long.
guy.
No, that's an actor.
Justin Long.
Jake Butt.
Yeah, Justin Long's an actor.
Well, I think he's also the Dallas tight end, but I'll do some research.
Maybe in a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Your turn.
Okay, sweet. So you're saying this wide receiver is a boom, you got to draft him.
I'm saying he's the MVP of the division. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Maybe the league.
So you were saying that a chalk player that could be MVP is A.J. Brown, Philadelphia wide receiver. I'm going to go on the other side of that coin. I'm going to say Devontae Smith is the guy you need to be drafting. Circle him on your draft boards. He can be a fantasy MVP of the NFC East. Maybe the league. Doubt that for fantasy.
So drunk.
But yeah, Devontae Smith, you might be asking yourself why. Well, let's just take a look at what Devontae Smith has had in the past. I like drafting a player based off not only what they did, but what they can do. What did Devontae Smith do? Well, he had the fifth most... fucked up there. He went back-to-back 1K yards and 7 touchdown seasons, back-to-back years. That is consistency. You're expecting 1,000 yards. You're expecting at least 7 touchdowns in a good offense 2 years ago and a shitty offense last year. He was league leading... the OC... I'm fucking up my notes here, guys. I got so excited with Devontae Smith, and I just wrote a paragraph to read off to the viewers at home.
You know, it's cute.
So, yeah. We brought in in my opinion, a good offensive coordinator. We brought in Kellen Moore. Say what you want about what he did with the Chargers last year, with how shitty that offensive line was.
You were on the Kellen
Austin
Moore train
Eckler.
last year, too.
I was on the Kellen Moore train, and I think that's consistency because I think he wasn't really the problem last year. That offensive line wasn't good. It was very mediocre, bottom, I think, 12 in the league with that. Austin Eckler sent to Washington, no pun intended. The wide receiver, too, in the offense when Dallas was leading the league in offense was CeeDee Lamb, funny enough. Cute little segue there. So I think Devontae Smith can be a CeeDee Lamb in an offense that has an A.J. Brown. I think they're going to be a lot better in motion, which is what Eagles fans are begging and pleading for. We saw no pre-snap movement. We saw Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown run 3 routes last year. You're not going to see that again. You're going to see a very diverse route tree. You're going to see a lot of motion before. You're going to see Saquon Barkley in the backfield with Jalen Hurts' rushing ability, with the deep ball going to A.J. Brown, with all the receptions going to Devontae Smith. Yes, the pushback is the fact that there's not a overwhelming target share like CeeDee Lamb has, and the receptions might not be there, but this guy is Mr. Consistent with insane upside. He just signed a 3-year, $75 million deal. A.J. Brown's going to be there too. That offense is locked and loaded. There's not a lot of pressure to get certain players this ball because there's years of development with this offense. I really do think that based off what Smitty has shown you versus what Smitty can be with the acquisitions and the consistency and the concrete salaries that are in this offense, I just love it. And I think his ADP isn't crazy. I think you're getting him where you've been able to get him. I love it. I think it's a little bit of a sleeper pick, and I think he could definitely pay off in your drafts.
I mean, I don't think it's a sleeper pick, but I do agree that Devontae is kind of the target guy. Like AJ is a lot more, to me, touchdown, necessary. But I think Smith is a fine receiver. I do think what they've done is pretty smart. They've got, $94 million a year, but they've locked up their what they believe their number one QB and a 1A and 1B receiver. Yeah. You're thinking Jalen puts it all together this year, right? That's kind of what the thought is. And if Saquon is Saquon, it's a nice looking offense.
What say you?
It's ballsy. It's a ballsy pick because to say he'll be the MVP of the division, I think it's a reach.
Yeah,
you like the guy.
Definitely put my nuts on the table here.
But I think we've kind of seen his ceiling too. I think 7 touchdowns, to expect that again, there's usually regression.
Well, he did it back-to-back years.
Yeah, that just, to me, that means the odds are he won't do it again, not that he'll do it again. But I think that the year he had, 110 receptions, 7 touchdowns, I think
Eagles franchise record.
I think that's the high. Well, that's not, come on.
Well, we haven't had a lot of good wide receivers in Philly, but still had pedigree, though.
No, it is. But what I'm saying is that, what he did was a lot. So to expect more, you're expecting now, we're talking about him being on a different echelon of receiver. And I don't know that he's that.
What you're saying about how 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons is what to expect. You got to look at past the numbers on it because it was in a really good offense where they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so why would it be better?
But listen, and then it was Brian Johnson and the debauchery that happened for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. I think if you can get the exact same numbers in 2 seasons with 2 different just narratives that happen for that team, and then you add who I think is going to elevate that offense in Kellen Moore with Saquon Barkley in the backfield, with Jason Kelce leaving, obviously, but an offensive line that is just so concrete. I do think that it's not just vibes, but it's also like there's some stats behind the fact that Smith has been like very consistent, and there are some really good building blocks that make him potentially into like wide receiver 1.
I think it's a good pick, but I do think it's ballsy to say he's going to be the number 1 receiver.
I just like it. It's vibes too, man. He's paid.
Let me tell you who's going to
vibes.
Let me tell you who's going to be the number 1. Let me tell you who's going to be the MVP wide receiver coming out of this conference. Is it conference or division? Division.
Oh,
and I think Phil's going to like this because I'm going, and I don't know. I almost never do. In fact, I normally think running backs, they hit the NFL and they can thrive in their first year. Wide receivers, although we're seeing this more and more. Malik Neighbors. I just got a feel for this kid. Honestly, even being as much of an Ohio State fan as I am, he's a legitimate. He could have been the 1 pick in wide receivers.
Yeah. The Giants did the right thing by picking.
190 receptions in college, over 3,000 yards. And I think his touchdowns were 21. Played in a pro-style offense with a quarterback that mirrors Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes can move around in the pocket to extend the pass. He can also take off. But he is a quarterback that expects you to continue running your route or continue to find the hole, which I think Neighbors did in college. So to me, he is going to get the target shares. Jalen Hyatt did nothing last year to make me feel like he is a 1-1. He is probably a really good 1B.
That's saying something.
Yeah, but I think Neighbors,
really,
and I also think that a lot of Danny's issues was the line. And I think the line is going to be better this year.
Yes. Phil made a point a few weeks ago on a past episode where instead of drafting linemen, how the Giants have done and failed, they brought in some vets. They paid some guys in the offseason. Yeah. So,
and I don't hate Singletary, honestly. I like.
Oh, yeah,
I showed you the numbers.
Yeah. Well, he's not vintage. He's not vintage Barkley at his best, but I don't think Barkley's at his best anymore. I think he's had too many injuries to be at his best.
We'll get to Barkley.
Yeah, we will get to Barkley. I do think, I don't know. I mean, I think this is even more ballsy than Devontae Smith being the NFC East MVP. I think Malik Neighbors.
The only reason why it's not is he's going to have the target share.
The target share is going to be
Waller's going to retire. They got a backup tight end.
Yeah.
By the way, Jake Ferguson, Dallas tight end.
That's who it is. There it is. I don't know. I just think the reason why Devontae Smith has so much around him that can elevate him, I just think, and this isn't like even a shot or like to try and bait you here, Phil, but I just don't think the Giants can put it together for Neighbors to have an amazing like MVP fantasy season. I just don't see it.
But I will retort, right, really quick. Well, you know what? I'll do it at the end. You go to yours and let's run through.
So we're going to go skip orders and I'll go back to...
Oh, no, I thought it was your turn.
Yeah, no, it's your turn.
My turn.
Real quick, before we get into NFC busts, the people that you shouldn't be drafting, check out CHALKBOARD. It is a free app that you can download by clicking the link in the bio. Scan the QR code on screen because that works more of the time. You can take care of all of your questions in a 24/7 group chat. 300 plus people are in that. You get start sits, you get picks, you get cheat sheets. It's literally free for you, and it helps us, and it helps you too win a league, hopefully. So check out CHALKBOARD. Phil.
Okay, so here we go. Familiar face, guy I'm saying to avoid, and it's partially, as I always do, it's related to the value. But just as in contrast to his earlier career, I think Saquon, along with Hurts and his rushing ability and what he's going to kind of vulture, I think, down near the goal line, I think Saquon Barkley is being overvalued. And I felt that way last year when he was on the Giants, and I said it in the preseason too. I held on to him in Dynasty because I had him, and I wasn't going to get the right value to trade him, but it's been a downward...
Actually, I think you traded a lot to get him.
Yeah, I did, because I lost the back in the preseason. I didn't trade that much. I traded you, right? Who did I trade you again?
I got a running back, a receiver.
Who was the running back?
Waddle.
Who was the
receiver? Back? I got a number one
that
pick, and I got
year.
It was. I got Waddle, a receiver, and Waddle, a running back, and a first round pick.
That was my league?
Yeah.
How'd it work out for me?
Oof. All right, whatever.
Did I win? Did I win the championship?
I don't know.
All right, shut the
It's your
fuck up.
league. I think you could stop by saying it's
asterisk.
my league.
Okay, asterisk.
Any
of course.
Pasquale wins the league.
I know. It's
That's just not fair, right?
yeah. You got a
All right,
question.
so Rocky. Saquon, right? The year before last, which was his best year since his rookie year, he had 4.5 yards per carry. Last year was 3.9. He finished 41st. He was 19th in touchdowns. Didn't break 1,000 yards rushing. He was 16th, and he carried the ball 50 less times. So it's not even like, obviously the injuries took something away from him versus when he first came into the league. I think anybody that watched him week to week seen that.
Especially 2 years ago.
But after the injuries, he just, wasn't the same guy, still effective. But I've seen the last 2 seasons a little bit, and there's like a fatigue that sets in with him. We're like,
yeah, there's a hesitation
as the
in his
season
run.
goes on, he doesn't look as bursty. He's not breaking. He doesn't break tackles anymore. That's the big thing. Early in his career, he would break tackles, extend runs. He just doesn't do it anymore. He'll make a guy miss. He can still do that, but he can't break tackles and keep a run alive.
But I think in theory, everything you're saying is correct.
And vision is his issue.
I will say it. I noticed the hesitation the last 2 seasons. 2 years ago, I thought, well, he's coming off the injury, but I didn't see it really come back last year. I do think he's in a better situation with more talent around him, and I think he's happy. Like, we can say what we want to say, but I think he wanted to play in Philly.
Oh, he did.
He traded all that depression to Malik Neighbors now. So
You mean being part of one of the best organizations in the history of the league?
I'm sure Neighbors.
You
is
mean a
saying
founding? You mean a founding organization?
your best-
you mean the owner's name is on the football that you play with? That you're talking about?
Your best player.
You're the Eagles, bro.
Your best player doesn't even know what you're talking about. He was not even born. He was like
That's
he was
bad
like,
on him.
He was like 8. He was 8 with the shit you're talking about right now.
That's bad. Then that shows your thought process.
No,
about
that
everything right
shows-
there.
that shows-
That's why you don't know what movies are.
that shows maybe
No.
get into a decade that's relevant, buddy. You're back a few.
Wow.
Wow,
You're back
I won.
a few.
We won one in the same decade you did.
Yeah, but that
Did
was
you
just
win one
later.
this decade?
Dude, come on.
Did you win one?
Stop
True
giving
or
me
false?
facts.
Did your coach ever cry?
Who?
Crying shows heart, man.
He doesn't.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it shows bitch.
Sometimes it shows, bitch. Okay, yeah. I mean, you make good points. I don't know if I'd be drafting Barkley as ADP, but I do think.
Well, I think
He's
that's
gonna
what it
do-
is too. ADP is the
That's the major thing.
yeah.
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 Avoid Saquon Barkley. Sure, I can get behind that. Yeah, let him fall to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take him.
Another running back that is apparently past his prime is Austin Eckler. So we have in Washington currently, before the season starts, the 29th worst offensive line. We have a 28-year-old running back that scored 13.2 points a game in fantasy last year at 3.5 yards a carry. And for Austin Eckler's stats, a low 14.7% target share. You are seeing a fast decline with Austin Eckler. You're seeing him go to a shit team in the Washington Commanders with a rookie quarterback. I don't see it getting any better. And
Wow.
if Austin Eckler was just the only back, sure, but he's got Brian Robinson there, who is younger, who is better, and is 100% stealing goal line carries at the very least.
That guy takes bullets.
Yeah.
Gets back
He
up.
literally takes bullets and is back in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler had a hamstring injury that kept him out of the league for, 6-7 weeks, maybe even more?
Yeah.
Lost your leagues last year because of where you drafted him at.
I'm going to be super quick, okay?
Don't
Commanders-
draft Austin Eckler.
Commanders.
Better than people think.
You cited their rushing offense or their whatever the hell you said.
29th worst offensive line.
They overturned half their roster this year. It's a total new coaching staff, new regime. What else did you say? Austin Eckler washed? Coming off an injury with the team that you just beat up in the last segment, talking about Kellen Moore and how things were bad over there. So we could sprinkle some of that fairy dust on Austin Eckler too.
Kellen Moore wasn't the problem, it was the players.
Oh, it was Austin Eckler.
It was Austin Eckler
He was
didn't
fine before Kellen Moore got
Austin
there.
Eckler didn't play.
Yeah, but
Austin-
is
listen,
he? Let me
Austin
ask you:
Eckler didn't-
is he worth where you got to draft him?
Where do you have to draft him?
Well, hold on, time
I think
out.
everybody's thinking like this
Hold
guy.
on, time out. Austin,
Maybe.
Guy came off an injury.
So
Let's
is
not
it-
forget that.
So,
Austin
so a
Eckler
second
didn't-
round, you draft him in the second. Because like to me, if he's there in the third, it's a
Third
steal.
round, I take him,
It's
yeah.
a steal.
Well, yeah, I mean-
second or first
But
round.
late second. We're talking about like 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, I take.
Listen, Kellen Moore, whatever.
I think that's where he's gonna go.
Austin Eckler wasn't part of the reason why Kellen Moore did bad. The motherfucker didn't play half the season.
Exactly. So then why are we saying he's washed?
Because he came back and you
Off an
saw he
injury.
had
Off an injury.
a hamstring injury that kept him out for more than half of the season.
What's your point?
The point is
bad
that
injury?
the point is that he's 28, and of course the Cliff Kingsbury is there, and the staff's different. But the offensive line is still 29th in the league.
It's not, though.
They have to get better there.
They got new players.
Will they go from 29th? Will they go from one of the worst offensive lines in the league to one of the best? To help
don't have to go to
help
one of
an-
the best.
To help an aging running back that
Houston.
isn't even potentially the RB1
Come
in
on.
the
Houston
in the-
Texans.
You're arguing
the depth
against
chart?
yourself here.
How am I arguing against myself?
I will say this.
Barkley's older with longer injury history than him. And you were not saying this about
I
him.
agree. I just agreed with you that hey, potentially skip on
You said
Saquon
don't
Barkley.
draft him at his value. You said you want to draft him though.
I think Austin looked hesitant and slow last
Did.
year, but I'm
First year
not.
off injury.
But I'm not so sure that he wasn't playing for this. Like that he didn't see the way out and he was somewhat protecting himself. He wasn't bought in. He knew they weren't really going anyplace.
You think the Commanders was his first option? I think he took the deal that looked the best.
No, he probably wanted the best deal, but the Commanders are not the same roster they were last year.
I will be on record and say that the Commanders will be better. I think people aren't talking about the Commanders
They'll
for whatever
be
reason.
better
They will be
depending
better.
on Jaden Daniels.
Cliff Kingsbury,
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels, Terry McLaurin looks promising.
Jaden McDaniels.
Sorry, Jaden
It's
Daniels.
McDonald's, not
hungry?
McDaniels.
I am actually starving.
You don't.
It's Daniels anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
nobody
you're
gets
talking
that.
about
It's
some
a throwback,
reference.
yeah, but nobody gets it.
I didn't hear you.
Run
Sorry.
DMC.
Okay, yeah.
It's McDonald's, not McDaniels.
Commanders will be better. I don't trust how that offensive line will go from 29th to 12th. I don't think Austin Eckler got younger. I don't.
Well, that's a fact.
He is not even the best running back in the room.
I don't know if that's true.
At this point in time, I'm taking Brian
I
Robinson.
do
over
like
Austin
Brian
Eckler.
Robinson, but the
So-
reality that Washington took Eckler
That's the other thing.
means
Yes.
that
means
they
that don't
either
believe
they
it.
see it or they think that maybe they're a good 1-2 punch because they did have
yeah.
Gibson and
Yeah.
you know
New regime. You replace Gibson with Eckler. You
He's
want to
a
get
big name.
You want
He's
to
a
make a
big name.
splash.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
draft the Heisman. You get Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, we shall see. We shall see.
All right, so mine is it's deeper, and I know you guys are going to push back a little bit.
It's deep.
I know that some people are not really like this is not the first guy you're thinking about drafting, anyways.
Qualifying.
But
Yeah,
with Saquon, with
He's gonna say
his
Kenneth Gainwell.
injury, I am with Saquon's injury history. I think there's a lot of idiots that are going to be drafting Kenneth Gainwell higher than they should, and this is a bad move. And it's a bad move for several reasons.
Yeah, Will Shipley, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Will Shipley
Took him in my
was the
Dino League.
steal of the draft, 4th round pick. This guy, you know what he is? He's 3 inches taller than Gainwell at 5, almost 6, 5'11 and a half.
Some say 3 inches is a lot.
216, almost 220 pounds. What's his speed? 4.39.
Yeah, you tell
Played
him.
for a superior
don't
college,
say the
Clemson. The guy is fantastic. Listen, this guy is fantastic. In my opinion, he was my second back that I would have drafted off the board,
Yeah.
and they got him. The Eagles, I don't know who they're.
Wowie Roseman, baby.
I think it's the devil. Somehow they made a
Whoa.
deal, but they
Whoa.
walked into Cooper DeJean or
DeJean?
DeJean.
I like the
Yeah, broke the barrier there with him. Got him for a steal. We
Color
know
barrier,
the
man.
color barrier.
Milk check.
And then they lucked into Shipley in round 4. I think this guy,
And Mitchell
when Saquon goes down with his every year injury, Shipley's going to take over that backfield, and he's going to be a stud. So I'm avoiding. I have Kenny Gainwell in 2. I've already traded him in both leagues that I'm in.
I like Kenneth Gainwell for a little bit, for like 3 or 4 games. But yeah,
You were big on the game.
He's
was.
tiny, man. He's 5'8".
yeah, he did well in college, but we drafted his replacement. We are not paying Gainwell.
Yeah. Taller, bigger, faster.
Fair.
Oh, and now listen to this. You know how many passes he caught last year in
lot.
college? 80, almost 90 passes last year.
Yeah.
This guy is a freaking machine, man.
Catching machine. Is it your turn?
That was your
done?
guy.
That was your
Avoiding Kenny G. Okay, well,
yeah,
we
Kenny
have
G.
we have 5 minutes. So,
Yeah.
is there any last minute boom bust guys? We didn't really talk about the Cowboys or we did with CeeDee Lamb. I guess we covered every team on that.
The well that I'm going to, this is another. Last week I gave us, or 2 weeks ago, gave us
This is just a sleeper.
a deep dynasty pick, and I'm going to say this is Ben Sinnott from I think he's playing. He's from Kansas State. I think he got drafted by Washington.
Sounds right.
This guy,
And Luke McCaffrey.
6'5", 250 pounds, 4.6 speed. He ran all the routes. He kind of functioned at Kansas State as both a fullback and a tight end. Absolutely been killing it in rookie minicamp. I think this is the second best rookie tight end, and they don't have a good tight end. So I think he is going to be the guy that honestly could do pretty well.
Theo Johnson.
Ooh,
Is that your
like that.
Giants running back?
No.
Oh, I got one for you.
Tight end.
Okay.
Theo Johnson
Penn
is.
State.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's in other athletics.
Here's one.
He's his combine stuff was pretty crazy. And I think Waller is retiring. So
I
don't
think so, too.
like giving any praise really to the Giants, but Tyrone Tracy Jr., who you guys drafted, is
Tracy Jr.
backing up Devin Singletary. I'm just saying, there's not a lot in the running back room for the Giants right now. And as these running backs in these Dino leagues are going by quick in drafts, that guy can definitely fall to you. I was taking him if Will Shipley didn't fall to me in my draft. I got Will Shipley, but Tyrone Tracy, put some fab money into him.
I think in dynasty leagues, you have to be looking at Shipley and Sinnott. By the way, they called him the senator in college.
Oh, now he's.
And who do you go to?
Now he's in the Capitol,
Washington.
And they got Sam Hartman there. They're building some sleeper agents.
Yeah.
So something's going on, and we were first to call it on Guys in Sports. But hey, that is the show. Oh, sorry. Did you have something?
Well, I kind of had a question.
I did want to go on my Daniel Jones, but I'll talk about it after. Go ahead, sorry.
You got
No,
something?
I think the moment's been
Okay,
ruined.
sorry.
Ruined. Okay. So permission to close out here, boys?
Yeah, permission.
All right, sweet.
Granted.
That was Guys on Sports. Thanks for tuning in. We really hope you like these quicker episodes that we're doing. We're going to be making some adjustments to the stuff that you're watching. And we really hope that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already following us on the internet, you should do that at GON Podcast, wherever you browse the internet. We really would appreciate that. And we will see you on the next one. Peace.